I went from zero to over $300,000 in a year, and I'm here to help you find out how you can do it too. Anyways, one of the first things we want to talk about is some prerequisites. If you don't already have an eBay account, obviously you need to get an eBay account, PayPal account so that you can get paid. Download the eBay app to your phone. It's going to make it a whole lot easier when you are trying to price things, when you're at thrift stores, yard sales, or doing some of the exercises that we're going to talk about in just a little bit here. You want to make sure you have some packing supplies, just some basic packing supplies. You can reuse stuff that you've gotten in recent orders from Amazon, Target, Walmart, something like that. You can reuse those boxes, not a big deal. As you scale, you can buy boxes and have better things, but you should probably still have some bubble wrap if you're listing anything that's breakable. Packing paper, again, you can reuse things. Tape, there's a lot of people who get started on this and they say, I don't have any tape. You can go to the dollar store and get some 2-inch tape, just a little roll of it for $1 or $2 and at least get you started. But I would highly recommend the 3-inch tape. I'll put a link down in the description for the one that I use. It's a lot better than the 2-inch tape in my opinion. You don't have to use as much of it. Just a pro tip. And a scale. You have to have a scale. Shipping costs can kill you in this business. If you get stuck on something and you thought it was £1, but you sent it and it was really £3, get a scale. They don't cost a lot, and you will make way more money in saved shipping costs than you spend on that scale. So check out the links down in the description if you need any of that stuff. I want to talk to you guys about feedback. When you are starting out on eBay, one of the first things, I don't want to say one of the first thing you need to do when you are starting out on eBay is get positive feedback. There's a few different ways to do this. I'm going to give you 2 cheats that you can use, and hopefully use both of them, but use these 2 cheats. Cheat number 1. Go onto eBay, sort sports card or search sports card or Pokemon card or whatever card that you want to do, and then sort it by lowest price plus shipping first. Go on and buy 5 to 10, yes, 5 to 10 from 5 to 10 different sellers. Cannot be the same seller, it needs to be different sellers. Just one from each seller. Spend your 99 cents on a sports card, and then they'll ship it to you. Give them positive feedback, and in your feedbacks, comment, or you can even message them. It's kind of annoying, but you can message them and say, hey, I left you positive feedback. This is a new account. I sure would appreciate the same. So you spend $5-10 and you get 5-10 positive feedbacks, right? Which is amazing. So now you're at least not a zero feedback person on eBay, but people can sort by buyer feedback and they can sort by seller feedback. So those buyer feedback will count towards your total score of a number, but you want your seller feedback to also have a 100% positive rating when you're getting out started. So what I suggest for this is one of the first things that you list it as a local pickup option only, and have a friend or family member buy it from you. So it could be a pencil. You could list a pencil for $1 with local pickup only, so you don't even have to do shipping. Then they buy it on their app. You scan the barcode that comes on their phone to mark it, deliver to them, and then they can give you a positive feedback as a seller. So if somebody searches you, now you'll have 5 or 10 total feedback, well, 11 maybe at this point, and your positive feedback as a seller rating will be 100%. So super easy trick on there. And it helps save you from a lot of the scammers as well, because once you start getting multiple feedbacks, the scammers like to deal with people who have 10 and below feedback. Once you get above 10, it's a lot less likely that you're going to get scammer messaging you and saying, hey, can you change the address? Or can you contact me on WhatsApp? Or can you email me? Or can you text me to change the payment method? Or I want to complete the payment, message me here. You're not going to have to deal with all that stuff if you get the positive feedback on buyer and seller out of the way first thing. All right, let's talk the next thing. Let's talk about inventory. So you're just starting out. Maybe you don't have a lot of money. I'm going to tell you how to start out in this business with $0. $0. You don't need to spend any money. I guarantee you 99% of the people watching this video right now have enough good inventory in your house that you could go through and list and it not hurt you in any way, shape, or form. And you're not going to miss this stuff. So I would go to your hall closets, go to your game closet, go to your personal closet, and go look for video games. Go look for maybe sealed board games, toys that your kids don't play with, maybe a shirt that you haven't ever worn and it's still got the tags on, maybe a pair of shoes that you just didn't like the way that they felt. They're still in really good condition, but you haven't donated them to the Goodwill or the Savers or whatever you're going to donate to yet. Take those items and build a pile, right? So I want you to go take some homework, right? You should maybe not do it right now. Watch the rest of this video. Like, share, and subscribe too, by the way. I really would appreciate that. But anyways, go through your house and build a pile. I want you to build a pile of all of that stuff, and then you're going to use the next step when we talk about how to comp it, and we're going to find out what from that pile should be your first listings. Because as you get started on eBay, they are going to limit you to the number of items that you can sell until you prove that you have delivered on the items that you've sold, and you're getting a positive feedback history, and then you can request a limit increase so that you can start selling more. So you want to take from that pile of maybe you've got 10, 20 things, and then you're going to start with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 best items that you can list out of that pile, right? So you're going to take the best items from that pile that you have, and those are the ones that you're going to list first so that you can get them sold as quickly as possible, get the positive feedback, and then build up to where you can start listing more items than what eBay lets you start with. All right, the next thing that we're going to talk about on here is comping. Comping is finding a comp or a comparable item to what you have to see what it sold for and what you should price yours for. Potentially, if you're out buying something, whether or not you should even buy it, and if it's worth the amount that they're asking at the thrift store, yard sale, retail arbitrage, whatever it is, you use the comps to find out what yours is worth. So the first thing that you can do, if you have the eBay app, you take it out, you open it, you hit the little camera, and you can scan a barcode if it's an item with a barcode, like a video game, a book, a DVD, a toy, something like that, a pair of shoes that has the box. If it's got a barcode, you can scan that barcode, and it's going to then pop up first the list of items that are active available for sale. And you want to take a note of that, mental note of that. So if it says there's 2,000 of them available for sale, it's a high competition item. There's a whole lot of those things for sale. Then you can sort by, go up to filter on the side on the app, and then scroll down to sold, and you hit sold. If there's 2,000 listed and only 100 sold, you don't want to mess with that item because it is super high competition, super low sales. So unless you price really competitively, then you're probably not going to sell that item. If there's 2,000 listed and 4,000 sold, then that's an amazing item, and you should definitely be looking more into that. Using some smaller numbers, if there's 50 listed and 50 sold, that's pretty dang good. If there's 50 listed and 5 sold, I don't want to mess with it, right? So use those in your mind. The other ways that you can search for those comps is by typing in the text. So you can type in the text into the search bar at the top, and you got to just kind of like describe the thing or punch in the model number. So if it's, say, a DVD VCR combo unit, you can type in Sony DVD dash XYZ model, and then it's going to pop up a listing based off of that. If you're typing something maybe like a toy and you're like, I don't know what this is, you can use things like Google Lens and then the little photo search app, and then you can take a picture of it and it might pop it up and let you know what it is, so you can use that for your description. Anyway, so once you've got all that stuff figured out and you now know how many are listed, and you know how many are listed, and you know how many are sold, you can use the sell-through rate to determine if there's enough sell-through based off of the amount listed to dig any deeper. If it's not, then just get rid of it. If it's worth it digging deeper, then you get to the solds. I like to just leave it sorted by what was last, and it should default to the most recent. So you can see if the most recent one sold for $99 free shipping and $69 with $30 shipping, and then one sold for $72 with $20 shipping. They're all around that $99 mark. Now you know that's basically what your item is worth, $99 including shipping, right? So really easy to figure that out. I like to take the last 4 and average them out. So if it was 100, 180, 75, then take those 4 together, average it, and that's basically what yours is most likely going to be worth in the marketplace, because the marketplace has already spoken based off of the ones that have sold. It doesn't matter if there's 200 listed and they're all listed at $200. If they're only selling at 100, you need to price about 100 for yours to physically sell. Now, if they're all priced at 200 and you want to price yours at $149.99 with offers on, you could probably do that and yours might sell. More than likely, you're going to get offers around that $100 mark. So use that last 4 sold, average them out, and figure out your total cost. The next thing that you got to figure out is it worth selling it after the fees? So you want to plan on 15% eBay fees. So if it's a $100 item, plan on eBay taking 15 of your dollars out of that sale to pay eBay. If it's a $50 item, plan on them taking out $7.50. So if it's a $100 item and they're going to take out 15 bucks, now you know you can't pay $50 and have $20 in shipping and you're only going to make 20 bucks, right? It gets too tight. So you want to make sure there's a big enough margin in there. You have to determine your own margin to determine what it's worth selling. Do you want to make 100% return? Are you fine with a 50% return? So if I spend $20, do I want to make $20? Do I want to spend $20 to make $2? That's not worth it. So you got to figure out what it's worth to you. Anyways. All right, now that you figured out what your item is worth, you have your comps, you've determined that there's good enough sell-through rate, the amount listed versus the amount sold is worth your time digging further deeper into this. You want to pick the best one from that sold list. So you're going through and you say which one has the most keywords, the longest title, it sold for maybe the most amount of money. Which listing of the comps that you're looking at do you like the best? Take that listing and touch on it, and you're going to open up that listing and then scroll to the bottom and it'll say sell similar, right? Sometimes depending on your app, it might be towards the top, but you want to click sell similar. So it's going to then copy all the information that that person had in their title and item specifics into your new listing. So you don't have to start from scratch. You don't have to type it all out. You don't have to fill out all the item specifics. Makes it way faster for you on starting. But now you're going to write your own description. If you're on mobile, you can copy and paste the title into the description, and you can put extra details. Say, is there something wrong with it? You're going to want to mark that into your details. So it's got a blemish, it's got a scratch on it. Make sure you also take photos of that when you do that. Be completely honest and as brutally honest as you can, because buyers are more likely to buy it if they know that you're super honest in your description. If you don't disclose that one of the CDs has a big scratch in it, when you sell a CD set, even if it's a 20 CD set, but one of them has a big scratch in it, you're gonna most likely get a negative feedback on that and probably a return request if you didn't note that on there properly. So be super honest with it, put any of the flaws, and you'll be much safer in that situation. The last thing that I want to say on this is, how do buyers find your item? They find it based off of text description first, your title, right? People search by the title. So your title, you need to use all the characters available. You get 80 characters to fill that out. So don't use 20 characters. If you can then put in, say you only need the 20 characters, you could then put, just say it's a shoe, for example. You could put shoe, girls, pink, mauve, the size, like put everything that you can all the way across. People might put on, like, say it was a Broncos jacket, right? It could be Broncos, Denver, orange, blue, striped, right? Whatever you want to put on there that helps the buyer find your item, because they have to search for it and find it if they're going to buy it. All right, so now that they found your item based off of your amazing keywords and title and description that you input, right, they're gonna search it by text and description first. The next way that they're gonna find your item is they're gonna scroll through the list of text and search results that pop up, and they're gonna start looking at the pictures, right? So they're gonna have the pictures down the side. So the number one thing in your photos is gonna be to have an amazing first picture that you put up there for people who have now searched it, that are now scrolling through pictures, to wanna click on yours. Because if they don't click on yours, they click on somebody else's, they're more likely to buy that one, right? So they need to click on yours. So your first picture needs to be the best picture that you can possibly take. Forgive me, I'll edit that out. Anyways, so a few tips. 1-to-1 ratio and square is the best format specifically for mobile. Lots of people buy off of mobile. So you want to format to that. So take your pictures in 1-to-1. On your camera setting on your phone, if you're taking pictures from your phone, you should be able to do that. If you're taking from a camera, you'll have to set it up whether or not you can actually do that. But set it to 1-to-1. And the next thing that you're going to do is have a clean, clear background, right? So I wouldn't take it with all this junk in the background, because people will be like, well, am I getting that vacuum? Am I getting these underwear? Am I getting whatever's in that box right there? You don't have a bunch of other stuff on the counter or your photo space that could confuse them. It doesn't have to be a white background. Doesn't have to be completely barren, right? It could be your countertop background and your backsplash, but just make it clean, right? It should be clean and clear and not a lot of other stuff in it. If it is not coming with the item, it should not be in the photo with it. So that makes it super simple on the person. You want to fill the frame. So right now, let's go right here. My face is filling the frame of this camera, right? I don't have a bunch, well, maybe like this, I'll turn it a little bit. My face is filling it. If I'm back here and you go, snap, that's my photo, you couldn't see it. You couldn't see the detail. So you got to show them the detail. Fill that one-to-one photo as much as possible. Take pictures of any flaws, point to them, use a pen or something like that, right? So I've got the little pin right here, and if it was something like that, you could point to it, or if it was a pen and you use the pen and use your finger. If you're like, oh man, I don't like my fingernails, don't use your fingernails. Anyways, fill it out. Number one photo, most important. All right, now that you have good photos, right, so you've got an amazing description, you only listed an item that was worth selling based off of the sell-through rate and the comps, you've got a fire first photo that's going to get you all set up there. The next thing you need to do is store it, right? You have to organize your stuff and store it until it sells. So organization is just key in general. You're going to need to organize your receipts, you're going to need to organize your boxes, you're going to need to organize your inventory, right? So a lot of people learn this early on in their reselling career. It's easy to get stuff lost, and it's easy to make a big mess if you're not careful with it. So for example, right on these shelves right here, these bins have a label on them, and I'll probably put up on the screen right here some of my other stuff. But you want to locate them. So in the custom SKU, when you're making your listing, you can put bin A, bin C, bin 1A2, like whatever your organization system is, put that in the custom SKU, because when it sells, it will pop up on your list and you can use that to pull your items and go a whole lot faster by just going to bin 1A, pulling the bin out and saying there the item is, versus having to remember and say, man, I have 2,000 items listed right now, right? So where is that one item that I listed 6 months ago? I don't know. So I still deal with that sometimes. Some of my items I don't have organization done with for an exact SKU location in the custom SKU. Sometimes those take me forever to find. When I started a couple months ago organizing and listing everything with a custom SKU, it makes it significantly faster. I can go pull 20 items in under 20 minutes, right? Versus it maybe taking an hour before trying to remember where every single item was. I've got like 50 little bins that I could pull something out of and be like, well, which bin did I put that in? I got a pretty good memory, but if you don't, that's gonna be a lot harder on you. The next thing that you're gonna wanna do is organize items inside of bins. If it's a ton of little items, say you've got a box with 50 shirts in it, you're not going to want to dig through each one to figure out which shirt it is. You're going to have that bin or that box, and it could be item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4. So in your custom SKU, right, for shirts is 4, and you can go boom, 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 and then pull it out and say, okay, here is shirt number 4, and it's going to make it a whole lot faster on you. You can buy those little stickers on Amazon. They are super cheap. Again, I'll put some links down in the description if you want to do something like that. You could just handwrite on the bag or box with a Sharpie, whatever makes it easy for you to remember how that works for you. And then the last thing I'll say is you still, at this organization step, want to keep track of what you paid for those items. So use Excel. You can use a notebook if you don't want to pay for Microsoft Office, or you can use Office for free online, by the way. But get a spreadsheet, and you want to log the date where you bought it, where you bought it, and what the amount that you paid for it. So come tax time, you have a full log of everything that you spent for the year, and especially if you're doing like a cash in, cash out basis. So a whole lot easier for most resellers as you're starting. That's going to make your tax time go a whole lot easier. So organize your buy costs, your shipping expenses, what you paid for bubble wrap, what you paid for bubble mailers. Every time you bought a poly mailer or something like that, it's going to make it a whole lot easier on you. Organize now. All right, so the next step is you sold something. Cha-ching, right? You get that alert on your phone and you're like, yes, I sold something, but oh crap, how do I ship it? I'm not sure, what do I do? There's two things that you need to focus on: the weight and the protection. That's really it. If you focus on the weight and the protection, that's what you're looking at. If it's something that doesn't need a lot of protection, you want to ship it as light as possible. So if it's a shirt, put it in a poly bag. It doesn't need a lot of protection. If it's a DVD or a cheap video game, just slide it into a poly mailer, tape it shut, and ship it off. You don't need to put that in a box and have a whole bunch of protection around it. If it is a collector's ornament or maybe a Funko Pop, something like that, where they're going to be really picky about the quality of the box when they get it, you can't put that in a poly mailer or whatever. You need to bubble wrap around that, put packing void filler. Void filler is filling all the open spaces in a box. I like to use brown packing paper. It makes it super simple to do a lot of that stuff. And you want to put it into a box sturdy enough that it's not going to crush if you're just moving around the edges. So protection is the number one key. Make sure that your item is going to get there safe. Number two on shipping is ship it as light as possible. So if you can keep it under a pound, you're going to pay first class shipping rates. Yes, it's going to be, if you go to the post office, if you get above a certain ounce, what is it, 12 ounces above that, you have to pay for priority shipping. When you ship from home using eBay's shipping rates, you can go all the way up to a pound and still pay first class rates. So even 1 pound 0 ounces is first class. 1 pound 1 ounces is priority. So it rounds up after that. 1 pound 1 ounce goes to 2 pounds. It actually ships at a 2 pound rate. 2 pounds 5 ounces ships at a 3 ounce or 3 pound rate. 4 pounds 3 ounces ships at a 5 pound rate. Hopefully that makes sense for you. There are a few hacks around that you can use, like a padded flat rate envelope, determining what's the best cost to ship versus UPS or FedEx or USPS. I suggest do calculated shipping on all your stuff as you're new and you're just starting out. So when you list the item, it asks you for weight and dimensions before you list it. If it's a super light item, just put 1 pound and then it'll at first class, and then you can figure it out as you go. If you are going to do over a pound, so say it's a pair of shoes, you want to weigh the shoes and figure out what the box is going to be and the packing material with it. So if it's 1 pound 2 ounces for just the shoes and the box, you know it's at least going to be a 2 pound rate. So put 2 pounds in there. And a pro tip, if you go into eBay, there's a setting that you can do that passes your eBay discounted shipping rates onto your buyer. So you're going to show a better shipping rate to them because when you buy it, you're going to buy it at the lowest rate. If you show the higher rate to your customers, they may or may not want to buy your item and they may look at somebody else's. If you want more like real detailed specifics, on this video, there's like how to ship video games, how to ship golf clubs, how to ship DVD, VCR combos, that stuff where I physically like show you wrapping up the whole friggin' thing. Go check out those old videos and you should be good there. All right, one of the next things that you want to focus on now that you've got the basics down of how to find an item, is it worth it? How do I photo it? How do I list it? How do I ship it, right? That's the basis of reselling, right? Once you got that stuff, it's pretty easy. But now it gets into like, well, how do I find the items better? How do I know like what to do? And are there any tools or tips or tricks or tips or tricks? Anyways, use the tools that are available to you. So use MileIQ for tracking your mileage. It automatically tracks where you go. So you save that for tax time. You get 65 cents a mile everywhere you drive to go source inventory. I don't know if you know that, but now you do. Use things like Rakuten. If you're buying online, you get cash back. If you use my link down below, you get $30 just for signing up, plus whatever cash back that you get. Use cashback credit cards. I'll have a link down there too for Capital One, but use whatever cashback credit card that you want. So even if you're sourcing at thrift stores, you slide your cashback credit card, you get 2-3%, whatever yours is set up to do to buy the gas that you're going for that sourcing, get your cash back on the credit card. Take advantage of things like maybe cook groups if you're into things like retail arbitrage or hype shoes, stuff like that. I use one that's called Bread and Butter. You can check it out down in the description below. There's a link to sign up for that, and they share leads. So like say you're sitting at your house and they're like, oh crap, here's this 75% off shoes at Kohl's right now, and you can be like, oh crap, that's a really good deal, I should go check it out. Things like that help make it easier on you as you go. Use free shipping supplies. I should have talked about that back in the shipping, and I know I missed it, so forgive me, I apologize. But use the links down below to go to USPS and get free shipping boxes if you're doing anything priority. And then for UPS, they even give you some free shipping blank boxes that you can use for basically any class. You're going to still need to buy yourself some poly mailers and some bubble mailers. Again, links in the description if you want to see the stuff that I use. I would also suggest to take advantage of the tools that you have, such as YouTube and Instagram, and check out other resellers. So if you are looking for resellers who sell the things that you want to sell. That's what I would focus on. So if you do retail arbitrage, you should be checking out people like the Millennial Prophet. If you're doing things like yard sales and that's what you want to focus on, you should be following Kevin the Commonwealth Picker or Dave the NC Flipper, or Matt from Part-Time Pickers. If you're going to do thrifting, you should be checking out Pro Picker, or you should be checking out Tim Osborne to Thrift, or you should be checking out whoever you like, right? So pick what strategies that you like to do and go follow those people, so that you're not following a retail arbitrage guy if you want to do yard sales, and you're not following, you know, a bins guy. Like if you want to do the bins, you should be checking out Flip the World or Dixon's Pickens, and go follow those people that you want to thrift, or you want to retail arbitrage, or you want to go to the bins, so that they can help you find things that you didn't know to look for. So next time you see it and you're like, oh crap, I remember Tim just sold one of these for $400 and it just looks like this weird piece of metal. Now you know to look for those items. So use the tools that you have available to you. The last thing that I want to talk about is scaling. So you should scale at your pace. Don't scale at a pace that you're not comfortable with. And what I mean by that is you don't need to buy a $100, $200 label printer when you first get started. But as you start going, you really should have a label printer because it makes it a whole lot faster to you. If you get something like a Rollo or an ID PRT, again, links in the description, you can even get free shipping labels from UPS that they'll send them to you. And then when you print your label, you just peel it and stick it, versus having to print it out, make sure you always have ink, and then you have to tape it on there and hope it doesn't get torn, right? So that's just drama that you don't need to deal with. Things that you would scale would be like having better packing supplies. So instead of reusing your Amazon boxes that you are going to use pre-sized, so I have 8x6x5 boxes, I have 11x8x5 boxes that I use. I have 16 by 20 by 6 boxes that I use for like VCR, DVD combos, things like that. So it makes it faster on me. So I don't have to go search for an item and search for a box, and that takes 20 minutes to find the right box. I can just go pull one off the shelf, you know, that I paid for, right? I had to pay for those items, but that's how you do it as you scale. You could be looking at maybe building business lines of credit. You could be looking at different cashback credit cards, right? So even if you start out all cash at first, then look at different ways that you can scale as you go up. And then I would look at things like joining the Facebook groups or different cook groups, things like that, that'll help you scale as you have questions and you say, man, how do I do this? Or how do I take that next step? That you have somebody in a like-minded community that you can reach out to and look forward to that. So, man, I hope this was a really good video for you guys. If I missed something or I told something that made no sense, please let me know in the comments down below. If you found any value out of this, share it, put it on a reseller group that you're in, or with any other people that you know that might be looking to be making this either a part-time gig or a full-time gig. Again, I did over $300,000 last year, and I know I could have done more if I really wanted to. So hopefully this helps a lot of people, and we'll go from there. But anyways, links in the description. Hopefully this was good for you, and you guys have a great day.